Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys quarter scale figure unboxing and review. Today we are taking a look at the 2.0 version of Christian Bale in the cape and cowl as Batman, based off his appearance in the Dark Knight trilogy. Now I got mine from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is in the description below. They do have pay in 4 and a reward system. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon and join button so you're notified as soon as a brand new review goes live on the channel. Now I do have to warn you, I am about to rant, so if you don't want to hear me rant and rave, skip over the unboxing segment. As for the box art, no, I haven't just been lazy and left the art box in the shipper is the art box. And that, Hot Toys, immediately no, absolutely not. This is nowhere near good enough for a quarter scale figure. Seeing as though quarter scale figures are your most premium offering, shouldn't that also extend to the art box in the unboxing experience? Because this feels super cheap and nasty. I mean, it's a massive kick in the teeth for quarter scale collectors, because we've already had this version of Batman before, and the box that he came in was vastly superior to this. It's literally a brown cardboard box with some grayscale printing on the surface. I am hoping most of y'all are on my side with this, but I can already see some of the comments. Justin, who cares about the unboxing experience? It's just a freaking cardboard box. All that matters is the figure inside. And I know that. You all know that the figure inside is of course the most important thing. That's what we're buying. But there are companies out there that spend tons of money on R&D making sure their unboxing experiences are as premium as the figures inside. But not Hot Toys, it seems. They literally do not care about quarter scale collectors, and this is a massive insult. On the back of the box, warnings and legal info. I guess Hot Toys, they said, collectors, you get what you freaking deserve, and what you deserve is a plain-ass brown cardboard box. But you flip open these panels, and initially I thought, ooh, look at that, there is an art box in there, but no, it's literally a thin piece of cardboard with a print on the surface. I do, however, like the 3D raised Batarang with the brushed metal finish, and the rubberized texture on the tech panels, but like I said, it's literally just a thin, flimsy piece of cardboard. It's a slipcover. Underneath that, the figure himself. Underneath the figure, a bunch more foam with more accessories. So, what we are going to do now is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with the display base first, and I feel like I'm on some kind of crazy Hot Toys roller coaster, mix of emotions, because just before with the unboxing experience, I was at the lowest of the low, rock bottom. But now that I've seen this display base, I'm starting to be won over all over again. I'm at another high point, so like I said, roller coaster. Now I like this display base for multiple different reasons. It's super versatile and it looks really good. It's also quite tall, so in the display, it elevates Batman. It makes him kind of have this statuesque presence, because being super low, if you did have this guy displayed with statues, probably wouldn't stand out as well as he would on this display base. Now around the front, or the back, we'll get there in just a second, we have this falcon head. I love the way it's sculpted, and it is huge. We've got this rocky cement texture on the surface, cracks and crevices, chunks taken out, some brickwork for the wall, and some intricate sculpted detail as well. Not to mention the paint applications, it's very pretty. We've got multiple layers of washes, different colors at play to bring out all that sculpted texture. Then we have some lighter dry brushing over the top of that, and some green for patina. I'm not sure why the green is there, because I'm pretty sure concrete doesn't oxidize like copper does, but nevertheless, I like the green. I'm not mad that it's here. It adds to the overall aged look and feel. Now you can see up on top that there's a translucent pole and a crotch grabber. But it is actually optional. Then around the other side, we have this massive Batman symbol that's all kinds of cracked and nasty. And the paint applications are just as good as the eagle head. On the back, we have Ra's al Ghul from Batman Begins. In the center, Joker from The Dark Knight, the middle film. And on the right side, Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. So all three arguably main villains from the trilogy. We also have a nameplate. So is this the back or is this the front? Well, it's both. This display base is modular. Now, how do you actually make it work? Well, it's pretty simple. This eagle head is removable. So the first thing you want to do, unlike what I just did, is remove the flight pole. Then you can remove the eagle head, setting this piece down, as you can see around the back. It's a little cap piece, and it's actually disguised as one of the cracks in the concrete, so when you remove it, you also have another crack piece to fill in the hole for the little piece around the front there. I've said little piece way too many times. So when you go to reassemble this, now you have the hole at the other back. So when you pop this in, you can bring back in the flight pole, plug it in position, and look at that. Now this is the new front of the display base. Super modular. Hopefully I've explained that well, but if you want the eagle head to be on the front, you can do that. If you want the villains to be on the front, you can do that too. Or if you want to remove it entirely and simply have it displayed without any flight pole, it's also absolutely an option. Then, rustling around off camera for the instructions, there's a third option. You can take off the eagle head, take this piece off and use this little cap doohickey, slide it together, and actually have him balanced on the edge of your cabinet or your table. And fingers crossed that should balance, because with him standing on there, he's pretty heavy, so it should lock it all in position. Covering up these holes with these crack pieces of concrete, such a clever idea, and it's so well integrated. If you weren't looking for those pieces, you'd never know that they're removable. Well done, Hot Toys. For the Hong Kong scene, we do get the sticky bomb gun. Of course, it's a mainstay, it had to be here, and yes, it's collapsible. It is entirely painted as well. I thought initially that this was unpainted black plastic, but nuh-uh, it's fully painted. There's some metallic gold. We also have a bunch of silver rivets, which can't have been easy to paint because there's a black dot in the center, some gunmetal around the front, and the screens are translucent red plastic. If you are wondering how you collapse it though, super straightforward. You slide all these bits and pieces together, then you can store this on Batman. By the way, look at that dial on that side, looks epic. There is a clip, so you can slide it onto his belt. Then for the other one, there is a little bit more involved with this one. You do have to rotate this piece around, which is kind of stiff and sturdy. You collapse all these bits and pieces up as I struggle on camera, and now we have the sticky bomb gun fully collapsed in two separate pieces. I've kind of made a pact with myself that if I am struggling with something, I'm going to show you, because chances are you may potentially struggle with it yourself. So if you see me doing it, no, it's not just you. It's genuinely a tricky thing to handle. Now for the EMP gun, you can slide this piece back, exposing the little translucent EMP coils. And we also have a switch for the LED, but this is so freaking goofy. One LED up the top. Hot Toys, you could have done so much better. At least 2 or 3 LEDs. I mean, come on, all these pieces are supposed to light up. At the very least, the sculpt is good, and there is some textured grip on the handle. Speaking of grips and barrels, it's the grapnel gun. There is some texture on the grip, and that's why I said that, but nevertheless, it's currently on this little bracket holster piece, so when I get Batsy out here, I can store it on his belt. The bracket piece, by the way, is painted in the exact same dark gold as the grapnel gun itself. The main body is also nice and shiny. We have some pops of silver here and there for the rivet and also for the barrel. Plus, on the inside of the canister, some teeny tiny little silver prongs. They cannot have been easy to paint. Then up top, you can slide this piece back to actuate it. Now if you're thinking, hang on a second, what's a grapnel gun without some little grappling hooks? Well, Hot Toys does include them, but when you insert them in the barrels, they sit in there really tight. So these little pieces, they do stand a chance of breaking. Only insert them in there all the way if you want them in there permanently, because trying to remove them, I don't know how easy that's going to be. This is actually really heavy, and I found the culprit. It's the belt buckle. This belt buckle is die-cast metal. Why? I don't know, but I love the fact that it's metal. It's cold to the touch, and it makes this piece feel super premium. Unlike the unboxing experience, I'm so sorry I had to. Now the inside is padded with foam, so it'll protect the suit when you slide it up and down on the figure for posing. There are multiple silver sections and rivets, black in the middle, and the gold color for the main body looks accurate to the film. Unlike the quarter-scale Batman Begins figure, where the gold color wasn't accurate at all. Now, these compartments are removable and optional. But why would you remove them? I mean, when you have these panels on there, you can actually open it up so it looks like Batman's fishing something out of there. That hinge is tiny. This one, though, is really interesting. It's also super tricky to remove, but when you do, you can unfold it, and it's the drill. This is the drill he uses to drill out the brick in The Dark Knight, so he can get a fingerprint off a bullet. I'm pretty sure this drill section should be silver, but having it be gold to match the rest of the bits and pieces on the belt and the canister it slides out of, not super mad at that. Well, this one won't take us long. It's literally a hollow piece of unpainted plastic. It's the backpack from the Hong Kong scene. It ejects the balloon, and then the skyhook comes along, picks up Batman, and Lau. That's what it does in the movie. In 1/4 scale, it does nothing. It literally sits on Batman's back. It is that hollow plastic, but it's sculpted well. It's nice and angular, and I cannot wait to try it on the figure. I kind of wish the 1/6 scale version of Batman came with this, because DX19, he didn't actually have this. For some of the smaller gadgets, we have a mine, but only the activated one. In the film, these little sticky outy pieces were only sticking out when the mine itself was activated, so I guess for posing, you're kind of stuck with only this option. Also, there's a pop of red. I like that. Then for the batarangs, you get 3 of them, and they're actual die-cast metal. I love the feel of these batarangs being made out of metal. But they are super sharp and prickly, so please be very careful not to spike yourself. Okay, this is super cool. It's a bust to display your spare head sculpts, and I'm all about that because you have multiple different head sculpts. You couldn't possibly display them all on the figure, so you don't need to. Pop one on the figure and one on the bust. Now, the bust itself is unfortunately also hollow plastic, but the sculpt is there, and the paint applications are there as well. This looks like carbon fiber, and the satin finish for the rest of the armor, yeah, it's very nice. If you are wondering what it looks like with a head sculpt in there, though, I didn't want to spoil you by showing you the Bruce Wayne head sculpt, or the Cowl head sculpt, or the Sonar head sculpt, not just yet, so here's the empty cowl. Yes, he comes with an empty cowl, and you do have a neck piece that can attach to the empty cowl, so it can either go on the bust or the actual figure, so you can have a full quarter-scale empty Batman suit. Something I'm sure many people have dreamed of. Not sure why. Now, the only issue I have is his neck does look a little bit long, and the same thing can be said for the cowled head sculpt and the uncowled one as well. That could be to do with how they've done the neck connector, or the fact that this is super hard sculpted plastic, so nothing can be adjusted and nothing can be moved around. But I did notice these little crevices up on top, just like the Batsuit itself, and I was wondering, can you install the Hong Kong scene backpack into the bust? And yes, you can. It slides in and locks in position, but I tell you what, doing that just now, that was really scary, because this is hard sculpted plastic and this is hard sculpted plastic, so there is no give on either of these two pieces. Please, I know I've said it a couple of times, but just one more. Be really careful. I am aware of the fact that I can repeat myself, and sometimes I do sound a little bit weird on camera. People have criticized my voice, but hey, it's my voice. If you don't like the videos, find someone else to watch. There are so many other Hot Toys YouTubers, but if you do want to stick with me, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy this video. Now, for the Bruce Wayne head sculpt, I love it. Although we have seen it before with the original one. We will do a comparison because I'm pretty curious to see the difference in paint applications between this new version and the OG. Now, there is this little neck collar piece which is removable, so if somehow, someway you got a 3-piece business suit in quarter scale and a body to go with it, you can absolutely use this head sculpt. Now, the skin texture is super HD, and the eye color is correct this time, just a little bit of hazel green in there. And we do have the mole, and look at that vein work and wrinkling. It is truly next level. Blowing these head sculpts up to quarter scale, I mean, you can capture so much more detail. Even the hair looks awesome. It's almost time for Batman. I cannot wait to get the figure himself out here, but before we do, it's cowled head sculpt time, and we have multiple options. We've got the regular cowl with the normal eyes, and on the right, the sonar eyes. You're probably thinking, no shit, Justin, those lights are blinding. Yeah, they are crazy bright. Hot Toys, y'all are out here trying to blind people, I swear. Do not look into these LEDs. Even on camera, that is insanity. And the batteries aren't even all that fresh either, they've been on for a while. Now, this cowled head sculpt is pretty much the same overall cowl, just with the sonar eyes, so all the mouth plates, they're compatible with both head sculpts. This one is super angry, and I like the depth there. The teeth are on a separate plane with painted gums, and there's even a tongue in there. There's some subtle 5 o'clock shadow, and a really nice amount of skin texture. The same thing goes for these two, although this mouth plate with the kind of Elvis smirk mid-sentence, it's the goofiest of the three, and it's not my personal favorite, but this one, just the neutral expression, chances are I'm probably going to go with this one in my collection. And don't forget this cowl has moving eyes. That little piece right there, that's used to move the eyes, or you can use your finger. You literally just pop your finger up inside and you can move the eyes around, but we'll talk more about the moving eyes later on in the video. And lastly, hands. Closed fist, trigger finger hands, actually no, only one for some reason. Some open palm hands already on the figure, and some batarang holding hands, kind of with a bit of a pinching grip. The sculpt is good. Looks like fabric with the texture and the wrinkling. Down below that kind of looks like a Velcro strap, and I like the pops of glossy black on the otherwise matte finish for the gloves. And the palm detail looks pretty good, but Hot Toys? Why are there less hands this time? I mean, with the original version of this guy, he actually came with some additional hands, like this one, the splayed out open palm gesture hand, but you don't get that this time, and I don't know why Hot Toys are being so stingy with hands. They've been doing it more and more often. Quit doing that. We need as many hands as we can get. What we are going to do now, though, is get Batman himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. This is a phenomenal Batman figure, and I could pretty much leave it at that, and I don't think anyone would be angry because you'll know how good this guy is, because the original was so freaking good. He was a grail for a really long time. Some people have even said that the quarter-scale Dark Knight Batman is the best Batman that Hot Toys have ever made. Did they recapture that lightning in a bottle like they had with the first release? I reckon they did, and they've improved on it. This time the proportions look a touch more realistic. They've made changes to the suit here and there, some for the better, and unfortunately some for the worse. We'll get stuck into that. And they've also updated the paint applications on the mouth plates and the head sculpt. So, like I said, there have been some improvements. Now, do you go out and sell your original to pick this guy up? Well, unless you really want that new display base, we'll have to answer that question a little bit later. Up close and personal, kicking things off with the cowled head sculpt first, and the eyes looking slightly up, and the neutral faceplate. But don't forget we have multiple faceplates to try, and multiple cowls. We've got the sonar cowl and the empty one. Plus the Bruce Wayne head sculpt, so we might be here for a second switching out the head sculpt, so please, just bear with me. But this head sculpt with the eyes pointed up and that neutral faceplate, number one, likeness is incredible, but number two, holy shit, it looks mean as hell. I am a huge fan of this head sculpt. I have been since we saw it the first time. Because yes, it is reused from the original version of quarter-scale Dark Knight Batman, and we will discuss that a little bit later. Now, unfortunately, that means it's not perfect. His neck is still a little bit skinny and a touch too long, but other than that, the finish of the cowl, the way the mouthplate fits in it, the expression built in with the furrowed brow, and the fact that you can move the eyes, yeah, I'm really happy with this, and it fits in proportion with the body as well. Seeing as though quarter scale is a much bigger canvas to work with, they can capture so many more details, and the details are just bigger. So seeing all this sculpted in detail for the frown lines, super HD in quarter scale. I said it in the accessory segment, and I'll say it here too, this mouthplate is the goofiest of the bunch, but I don't know, with the eyes off to the side and a subtle head tilt, maybe even looking down at you, it can potentially work. It is very pose depending. But Christian Bale does make this expression in the movie, and the likeness is still there. Plus, the cowl sculpt is good enough that I think it more than makes up for it. But I'm going to ask you, weigh in down below, what do you think about this mouthplate now that you've seen it fully assembled in the cowl and on the body? Finally, the third mouthplate option, and we're all the way back to hot damn, this mouthplate on the body in a pose like this. It looks sensational. Now, you do have to tilt the eyes up, and it's very pose depending, because it's not going to work with him just standing straight up and down. It will look potentially as goofy as the second option, but still, I can absolutely see a world where in my collection I have this guy in a badass dynamic action pose with this mouth plate option on. Now if you are wondering how the moving eyes work, it's really simple. There are some posts on the inside of the head sculpt. You can either use your fingers to adjust them, or there is an included tool. Now my favorite way of doing it is to angle them up, like I've said multiple times, but you can have fun with it. Heck, you can even make him cross-eyed if you wanted to. We're actually moving on at a pretty steady pace here. Next up, the sonar cowl. A word of warning and a reminder from the accessory segment in case somehow you missed it, or more than likely you skipped it because it was boring. The LEDs are very bright, so don't look directly into them. I mean, even on camera, that is some crazy lens flare action. I really like it, so for figure photography, it's going to work super well. Are the LEDs bright enough? Yeah, I think they are. Now the mouth plates, they're the same mouth plates as the standard cowl. In fact, the shape and size and sculpt of the cowl, except for the fact that there are no eyes, is identical. So you need to pick. If you want to display the standard cowl on the bust, you only get one neutral mouth plate. So you either pop it in there or pop it in the sonar one. I would have loved if we had multiple sets of those mouth plates, but I guess keeping it to only 3, they can put all of the paint budget into those 3 rather than half-assing it and giving us 6, multiples of the same thing. Now, the other cowl option is the empty one. I'm not sure how many people are going to use this in the display, but it's there if you want it. Now, the neck does look a touch long, but I guess it's adjustable and the cowl is removable, so if you want Batman or Bruce Wayne holding this cowl and you actually have his head sculpt on there, which we will do in just a second, don't worry, it's absolutely possible. But I'm really glad this is an option. I might not be using it all the time, but it's still there if I want it. As the old saying goes, the proof is in the pudding. And I guess in this instance, that makes this the pudding? I'm so sorry, not the best saying to have used, I know. Now that I have the Bruce Wayne head sculpt on the body though, he's holding the empty cowl, just like I said he could. Now you can remove the cape and pop the Hong Kong scene backpack on, it's entirely up to you. There are so many options here. But when you do go for the Bruce Wayne head sculpt, don't forget, you need to put this little neck adapter rubbery gasket piece on, so the suit comes up a little bit higher on his neck, because if you don't, his neck will potentially look way too long and really goofy. Now I have seen some people online saying that this head sculpt, it ain't it, and the DX19 one looks better, but I don't know what you're looking at. This is Christian Bale to me, 100%. I loved it with the original version, and I still really like it here. That's not to say that I dislike the DX19 head sculpt, though. I really do love it, but I just prefer the quarter scale one. I reckon that's always been Hot Toys' strongest Christian Bale head sculpt. This one, though, is also really strong. What the heck is this head sculpt? It's the Hot Toys quarter scale Bruce Wayne head sculpt from the Batman Begins figure. So his hair is a little bit more slicked back, and he looks quite a lot younger. So if you're going for potentially a start of the Dark Knight Batman, this head sculpt definitely fits on the body. Now it does sit up a little bit higher because the neck is a touch longer, but still fits in proportion. I don't think it's too big or too small. Unlike, say, for instance, this head sculpt, the Enter Bay Bruce Wayne head sculpt. Still bang on to Christian Bale, still one of their strongest head sculpts ever, but on this body, doesn't work super well because his neck is significantly shorter, so it sits way lower. Some people may actually like that though, because it does make him look bigger and bulkier, a little bit more beefy. Plus, yeah, now that I'm seeing it through the lens on the body, even I'm starting to be won over, but no, gotta stick to my guns. The neck is just a little bit too short. Are we about to talk about the cape? Oh yes, we are, my friend, and thankfully this time, it's a really good one. Now, it's not perfect. Let's get the elephant out the room first. It's not black velvet. Normally I forgive them for that, because in 1/6 scale, black velvet is far too thick and heavy to drape well, but this isn't 1/6 scale. This is quarter scale. They could have gone with black velvet, they chose not to. But I respect that decision this time, because this fabric is a really good choice. It's super heavy, so it drapes flawlessly. They've also stitched in some pleats up the top permanently, so it hangs over the shoulder exactly as it should. We have the V taper around the back, and for some reason, this kind of satin material up underneath. I'm pretty sure that's just there to hold everything in position nice and tight. Now, in order to install it into Batman's suit, it's pretty simple. Follow the instructions and you'll be perfectly fine, but in reverse order, you simply slide this little clip into the suit, then push it down and it'll lock in position. Now, one other thing that I really like about the cape, aside from the drape and the heft of the fabric, is the color. It genuinely is darker than the suit itself, so there is a contrast exactly as there should be. Why have I removed the cape? Simple. I wanted to show you all the detail underneath, because normally all of this stuff would be totally hidden. I mean, you can see the mesh fabric bodysuit, these separate rubbery pieces of armor, and these big chunky back plates. He also has some carbon fiber panels, but we'll touch on the carbon fiber more in just a second. There are some little buckles sculpted up top as well, which I'm 99% sure aren't on the DX19. That's what I like to see, additional details on quarter scale figures that aren't present on 1/6 scale ones. Not to the detriment of the 1/6 scale figure's accuracy, but just give us more detail with quarter scale figures, because the larger canvas, there's just more figure to work with. Now, in order to install the Hong Kong scene backpack, pretty simple. There are some clips down below and some prongs up the top. Now, you do want to start up the top with the prongs. You slot them into the cape segments. Then you slide it down and it will lock in position. It fits the body well, sits nice and flush, doesn't stick out too much, and it looks accurate to the film. The only complaint I have is it feels kinda cheap and nasty, but let's be honest, on display, in a pose with the sticky bomb gun, you're not going to be touching up on it anyway, and it looks accurate, like I've already said. Back around the front, I'm very cognizant of the fact that a lot of y'all have seen a lot of different versions of this suit in multiple different scales by multiple different companies at this point, so I'm pretty sure you're an expert. But I will still go through the important details, starting off with the shape of the body. The upper torso, nice and chunky, the biceps big but not overly bulky. What I'm trying to say is I love the proportions, especially in quarter scale. They look even better. Then for the suit itself, the fabric undersuit, full stretchy fabric, which is great for posing. There is still some screen printing like this panel right here and these pieces, but I would have no problem leaving this guy in a crazy pose, because this fabric, it feels bulletproof. You still have to be careful not to pinch it in the joints and tear it, but everything else, it's not going to crease, and it shouldn't get damaged either. Then for his carbon fiber, there is a ton of depth there. You've got carbon fiber for the ab sections, on the biceps, and also on the chest plate. It almost feels like they've got the carbon fiber print underneath a completely separate layer of translucent plastic to bring that depth in. And one other small detail that, not gonna lie, I missed with the first version of this figure, the shoulder pads, they're two separate pieces, which is way more accurate to the film compared to the 1/6 scale version. That one has fully sculpted shoulder pads. These being separate pieces is the way to go. Not only for accuracy, but also for flexibility. Unfortunately though, there is one thing that's not super accurate. Film depending. Now, in The Dark Knight, the gloves looked like this. They were separate to the gauntlets. But in The Dark Knight Rises, these cuffs, they were tucked into the gauntlets. How would Hot Toys solve this? Simple. Multiple sets of hands. They already didn't give us a ton. So if they'd simply doubled them, chopped off this piece and had it sit inside the gauntlet, it would have been accurate to both films, but they decided, nah, not worth it. I am potentially considering doing some mods to get this to sit inside the gauntlet, but you really shouldn't have to. One super annoying thing though that Dean Knight mentions multiple times, and I'm right there with him, this piece should be glued down to the suit, either as a separate piece, for giving accuracy and just having it so that it looks better when you bend the elbow, or actually have it be a little bit more flexible and glue it down still part of the gauntlet. Then, these spikes, they are quite prickly, so please be really careful not to spike yourself. Now, currently for the belt, I don't have any pouches and bits and pieces on there, but if you wanted to completely outfit Batman with everything, and I do mean everything, it looks like this. Now, some of this stuff, yeah, okay, the pouches and the little drill, but the grappling gun draping down, it's not for me. It just looks far too goofy, and luckily, it's super easy to remove. Now, around the back, I also have the sticky bomb gun installed, and It's pretty out of the way, it's on the back, and it's hidden by the cape, so if you wanted to stash this here rather than storing it in the box for a rainy day, maybe you're thinking about using it for a pose, yeah, pop it back there, it doesn't really impact anything. As long as you have it slid all the way around the back, because from the side, it is potentially going to be visible. Coming down to his legs, his thighs are really nice and meaty, and that's thanks to padding. Normally I'd be complaining and saying, oh no, padding, it's going to limit articulation, but quarter scale figures, they're a different breed. Their joints are a lot stronger, so they can fight the padding, and you'll find out exactly what I mean in the articulation segment. Over the top of the padding, stretchy black spandex, but it's not just devoid of detail, there's some texture to the weave, so it looks visually interesting. Speaking of visually interesting, look at all these armor panels. Normally you'd think, okay, they've just glued them to the surface, but no, they haven't. They've learnt from the DX19 and they've fused it to the makeup of the fabric itself. So when you bend it, rather than them lifting and looking all kinds of weird and nasty, it bends as one piece of fabric would, so however they've done it, I love the way it looks. Around the back though, this panel is a separate piece, so perfect example. As you can see, when you move it around, it does flap around and do its own thing. So luckily, all of these leg pieces of armor, they're fused and stuck in position. Now his knee pads, they are separate pieces which can be moved around, and I do dig that little pop of carbon fiber on the front there. Lastly, for his boots, they look good. But why are they one sculpted piece of rubber? Hot Toys, have you not learnt your lesson? This cut is perfect for a split cut. And rubber, when you bend it and crease it over the years, it gets really nasty really quickly. It gets sticky, it starts to get all shiny and maybe even a little bit oily. Plus, not to mention it can crack and crease and damage, so a split cut would have been my preferred option. But it's very flexible. We've got some wrinkles sculpted in, we've got some texture and a zipper on the inside. Plus, on the bottom, the Bat Summoner, not removable, but it's there, and some sculpted tread. For a quick side-by-side comparison, the moment that I'm sure a lot of you have been waiting for, especially those of you who own the original. On the left, the new 2.0 version, and on the right, the 1.0. Kinda, sorta, cause mine's not stock. Mine's wearing a custom cape by Tony May, and a custom cowl and neck connector by OT Customs. So a couple of mods here and there, but the body is stock. Speaking of the body, the new one does for some reason look a little bit more proportionate. I'm not sure if they've taken away padding or added more padding, but his shoulders are broader, his chest is a little bit chunkier, and his belly isn't as big as it was with the original. With the 1.0, it sticks out just a little. Also, the new one is a touch taller. Now, that could be down to the custom cowl I have on the original one, but still, I am seeing a little bit more height at the shoulders. Then, the belt is a touch darker on the 1.0, and the 1.0's boots are much more matte, as compared to the new one, still has the rubbery boots, but for some reason they're more glossy. Next up, Hot Toys quarter scale Batman Begins, with a custom Jackson Jude drape cape. It's at this point that I'm realizing though, Justin, why the hell don't you have the Entebbe Batman Begins figure? That is a staple for a lot of people's quarter-scale Dark Knight collections. Including Dean Knight, he swears by that thing. He calls it the Beast. And it's way more screen accurate than the Hot Toys one, but I only have the Hot Toys one. Heck, maybe I have to go ahead and pick up the Entebbe one. Let me know if you'd like to see a review in the comments down below. Now, this Batman Begins figure is for some reason a little bit taller than the Dark Knight suit, but I'm pretty sure that's down to the cowl. The bodies themselves likely are identical, and there isn't a ton of padding with the Batman Begins suit because the rubber does all the heavy lifting. Now, as I mentioned earlier on in the accessory segment, the Batman Begins belt is the wrong color. It's pretty much the exact same color as this Dark Knight suit, but it absolutely shouldn't be. Quite surprisingly, over the years, my opinion has changed on this Joker. Initially, I was enamored by it. I thought it was the best thing ever. I thought it was the best Joker, and I was super happy to have it in the display. But now that we've seen so many awesome Jokers from other companies, I don't love it as much. It's still really good though, so if you have this and you're thinking, ooh, I'm gonna pair it up with my new quarter scale Batman, this is what that looks like. Joker is shorter, but I think he complements Batman really well, seeing as we don't have a Bane, or a Catwoman, or a Scarecrow, or a Two-Face. If you want a pair of quarter-scale figures in the collection, you could do a hell of a lot worse than this. And lastly, QS19 alongside DX19. What does this actually tell you? I don't know, but at the very least, if you're wondering how big a quarter scale figure really is compared to a 1/6 scale figure, this should tell you that. Head sculpt comparison time? Yeah, I think it is. And quite surprisingly, we've got a few to compare, not just the Hot Toys ones, but the Enterbay Bruce Wayne head sculpt as well. Now, starting off with the Hot Toys Batman Begins head sculpt, I like it, but I don't love it. I can see the Christian Bale likeness, I dig the expression, but what I don't love, the hair. It's far too slicked back, and it makes his head look really skinny. Also, he kind of looks sunburnt. There is way too much red going on for the skin tone. Now, compared to the previous version of the Dark Knight head sculpt by Hot Toys, I think this one is a massive upgrade. But the paint applications weren't as good as the Batman Begins one. Now, the likeness still there on both, but as you can see, his hair is a lot fuller. Also, the head sculpt itself is actually a little bit bigger. But like I said, this one is the original. The new and improved version is this one right here, and the skin texture, the paint applications, the 5 o'clock shadow, and the way they've done the hair. Yeah, a massive improvement over the 1.0, but the underlying sculpt is still identical. So if you do have the original and you were expecting a massive upgrade, you might be a little bit disappointed. Now, on camera, for whatever reason, the new one is coming across a little bit glossy, but in person, trust me, it isn't. So those two head sculpts, both really strong, but a lot of people's favorite Christian Bale head sculpt is this one, the Enterbay head sculpt, and I can see why. Once again, Christian Bale likeness is totally there. But please, weigh in down below, which of these Christian Bale head sculpts in quarter scale do you prefer? Hot Toys Batman Begins, the original, the new one with the updated paint applications, or the Enterbay one? Oh, you all thought we were done with the comparisons. Nuh-uh, we ain't done with the comparisons, just one more, the Cowl head sculpts. On the left, the new one, on the right, the original. Now, the original one does come across a little bit more matte, whereas the new one has a bit more of a sheen to it, but I actually prefer that. I reckon the finish on the new one is slightly more accurate. The eye color is the exact same, but the mouth plates, oh, there is a big difference. Now, the sculpt is the same once again, but the skin texture, the subtleness, the 5 o'clock shadow on the new one, it's just so much nicer. Whereas with this original one being Hot Toys' first ever quarter scale figure, they were still learning, so we do have to cut them a bit of slack, but the 5 o'clock shadow on the right here was really heavy-handed. I mean, it's so heavy-handed that it pretty much disguises all that sculpted in skin texture, where, like I said, the new one is just way more subtle. Going over articulation, without the cape on, I have decided to nix the cape in favor of the Hong Kong backpack, just for this clip, because trying to wrangle this huge quarter scale figure on camera is already challenging enough without the cape flapping around in the background. Starting off with the cowl, there is a ball joint at the base of the neck, and the cowl itself is on a magnet for maximum range of motion. Combined looking forward to there, looking up to there, like I said, maximum range, swivel and pivot side to side. The arms will go up to there on soft ratchets before this piece collides with the rest of the armor. They will go forward and back once again on ratchets, butterfly joint at the shoulder that hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow on very clicky ratchets going just past 90, and a hinge and swivel for the wrist peg. The torso will crunch forward and back, but there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of padding, and there's this ab armor, so it is slightly restricted. Swivel and pivot side to side. The legs will go forward, also on ratchets, and there is also a ton of padding there, so they really want to fight you. Going out to there, ratchets once again, swivel at the upper thigh, double bend at the knee, super clicky, then down here for the ankle. It's basically a massive wrist peg. So angle forward, you get forward and back and swivel, but if you angle it to the side, you also get ankle rocker. Moving on to the 3 cool and 3 annoying things. The first annoying thing isn't the fact that they included this bust, because I really like this thing. It's a super neat idea, if it was executed well. Unfortunately, it isn't. It literally weighs nothing. It's made of super cheap feeling plastic, and it's completely hollow. At the very least, it's painted and it works well when you pop it in the display, but as soon as you pick it up, you'll know exactly what I mean. And Hot Toys, you could have faked it. Just pop a weight in the bottom and it would have felt that little bit more premium. The second annoying thing The EMP Blaster. Hot Toys, you've had so many chances to get this thing right, and of course, I'm talking about the light up. When you flick the switch, you pull this piece back, would you look at that? Only one LED, this thing looks so freaking stupid. I'm fairly certain that all of these clear pieces, they're supposed to light up, and Hot Toys, you absolutely could have done that. Ditch the single LED and put a bunch of them along these clear pieces, so they actually would have lit up, just like in the movie. The third annoying thing, they didn't update the head sculpts. Now, they did update the paint applications, and I'm super thankful for that, because modern-day paint application technologies, they're so much better than they were back in the day. But the sculpt for the Cowl, it's still not perfect. His eyes are super wide open, and his neck is kinda long and also kinda skinny. I mean, when we have customizers like OT Customs making their own cowls that are a much more accurate shape with the squinted eyes, with the shorter, chunkier neck, I have no idea what Hot Toys are doing, because the one on the right, to me, looks so much freaking better. And yes, I have popped the link to OT Customs in the description down below. It's compatible with the stock Hot Toys eyes and also the stock Hot Toys mouth plates, so all you have to do is pop the Hot Toys bits and pieces in the new cowl. Don't get me wrong, the stock cowl is more than serviceable. It looks like Christian Bale in the cowl. Plus, they have updated the paint applications on the mouth plates, so it looks better than the original one. But with that being said, now that I've installed the thicker, chunkier, more accurate neck piece from OT Customs and his cowl on the body, it makes a massive difference. In fact, it looks so good that after this review, I'm displaying him like this permanently in the collection. One of my favorite things that's a really small detail is there's a ledge that this mouth plate tucks up underneath, so it casts a shadow on top of the mouth plate. There's a bit of depth there, whereas the Hot Toys one, it literally just sits on the same plane as the cowl itself. Plus, it's still a magnetic neck connector, so you get that crazy range of motion, and you get to retain the moving eyes. Because, like I said, you pop the eyes out of the Hot Toys cowl and put them in here. I mean, come on, OT Customs, you're just flexing at this point. Need I say more? You can see this darn thing through the screen. Those squinted eyes, the angry mouth plate, the shorter neck, a match made in heaven. He literally looks like he wants to kick my butt through the camera. Like I said before, very fierce. It's worth noting that I don't think anything can really truly save this mouth plate from being the least favorite for a lot of people, including me, but in this cowl, with the eyes looking up at the right angle, it's totally believable. He looks like he's mid-sentence. So once again, OT Customs cowl. Link is in the description below. I apologize, I didn't mean for that to turn into a mid-segment plug. Really, I didn't, but if I didn't tell you where I got it and how it works, you'd probably just ask me in the comment section anyway. The first cool thing, the cape. Finally, Hot Toys, congratulations, a really good Batman cape. It drapes well, it's nice and heavy, there's a lot of fabric here. It's a super dark fabric as well, so it contrasts with the suit. The second cool thing, yep, still on the display base hype train. I can't get over how good this both looks and functions. I mean, you've got so many options here. You've got the gargoyle on one side, you can have that facing forward. You can flip it round so the villain logos and heads are facing forward instead, and you also have a nameplate up top on this side. But that's not all. You can take out the little crack pieces and pop a crotch grabber in if you want it to be a little bit more secure in the display. Plus the platform, nice and flat, so you can get really dynamic with the poses. Oh, and also, in the display base, I'm sure you spotted this earlier, but when you take off the top cover, there's a huge crevice. What's that crevice actually for? No idea, but you can store his accessories inside. It's so big, in fact, that you can fit the entirety of the EMP gun. So when you want to change up the pose, no need to go fishing around for the box, taking out all the accessories, changing the pose, and putting everything back. The accessories, they'll already be inside the display base. I love accessory storage. The third cool thing, the special edition bonus empty cowl, and the fact that you can display it on the body, which I totally wasn't expecting. Now, it's not perfect, the neck is a little bit long. And yes, I have pushed it all the way down, but still, as a display option, having an empty Batman suit in quarter scale in the collection, it's something super different. No, you weren't the only one thinking this. I was thinking to myself in the background, I love that base, I really do. I wonder what it looks like underneath the DX19. And because it's so big, it gives him a huge presence boost and a huge height boost. So if you've got some vertical space to play with in the collection, and you didn't want to use it for your new QS19 Batman, or you just purchased the base separately on eBay, yeah, this is what it looks like with the DX19 standing on top of it. Wrapping up on the new and somewhat improved quarter-scale Dark Knight Batman. Now, going into this, I didn't know what to expect, because they could have either changed a ton of stuff or nothing at all. And they've landed somewhere in the middle. They've updated the proportions, they've either added or taken away padding, still not sure. They've changed the body here and there, and they've also made some subtle changes to the suit. The material feels softer, a little bit more flexible, and the way they've done the armor plating is a touch different as well. So, minor things. Very, very minor for the figure himself. The big changes, the display base, and the lack of the villain masks. Now, I don't really care about the villain masks. They're a nice addition to the original, and they're an exclusive to that set. But with this guy, you don't have them. You do, however, get the Hong Kong scene backpack, multiple different cowls, multiple different expressions for said cowls, the empty cowl, the bust to display the spare head sculpts, the Bruce Wayne head sculpt with updated paint applications, metal batarangs, and the sick new display base. The display base, for me, worth the price of admission. It is genuinely that good. You've got accessory storage, multiple different options, crotch grabber, no crotch grabber, you can even display it balanced on the edge of your cabinet. So I think, just for me personally, if I had the original, yeah, I would consider selling it and getting this new one, just for that display base alone, because it adds so much presence in the collection. And it's so much easier to work with compared to that 1.0 base. That thing was a downright chore to work with. You had to have his leg up permanently, because he was on this rocky outcrop. Now, for some poses that works, but you're kinda stuck with having to go with those some poses. And I don't like being told how to pose my figures, so this display base with this figure with the improved proportions, yeah, I think it's the better offering. Now, they still could have changed a couple more things, including having the gloves be accurate to Dark Knight Rises and maybe thickening up that neck piece, plus making the cape black velvet, but I still also really like this new cape, so another improvement. At the end of the day though, it is all subjective, so you might be sitting there thinking, oh, bloody hell, I don't need this new one, the original is so much better, especially with the upgrades I've done, because it's been out for a while, and people have done a lot of upgrades. Does this guy need those same upgrades? That's going to have to be up to you. Now, I got mine from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is in the description below. They do have pay in full and a reward system. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.